Okay, welcome back to DeFIRE Office Hours. I'm getting a head start this week. Um, in order to get an hour in, I needed to start now instead of in 30 minutes. Um, so thanks for popping in early. If you have any questions, feel free to drop those in the questions thread, or raise your hand if you'd like to come up on stage. Um, this week, we've had a lot of things heating up in anticipation of the pre-sale, which has been um, intense but great. Been a lot of uh, activity from our contributors across a bunch of different areas, and we have a lot of things coming up in the next week. Some announcements that have come up in the last day or two. Um, just briefly, I think we'll go ahead and cover some of the updates. Let's see. Just responding to somebody real quick. So the most recent update is the airdrop of the Flare token, which is going to be our governance token leading up to launch. So once we have gone through our pre-sale and have people have DeFIRE tokens allocated to them that they can then use as governance tokens, we'll transition to using the DeFIRE tokens as a governance token. But for the meantime, we have to uh, make decisions as a community before the pre-sale, and so the Flare token will be dropped in a few days. You can read the announcements in the announcements channel on that. The most important thing right now, in terms of the details of that announcement, is that Phoenix has set up a bot where you can uh, input your wallet address in order to receive the airdrop. So it's really simple. It's in the Discord under @walletlinker. So you can click on the profile, send a DM, and you'll just want to use the slash command exclamation link, and then a space, and then your wallet address that you'd like to receive the airdrop, and it will update your wallet address in that bot, and you'll be all set to receive the airdrop. So head over to announcements, and there's a lot more detail around who's eligible for the airdrop and uh, the instructions around getting your wallet information set up. We are still working on our invite contest. So if you have not invited everybody that you know, or people that you are just acquaintances with who you think might want to be a part of the project, then you still have time to do that. That announcement came a couple of days ago. What's cool about this one, the first contest, it was just purely how many people you invited would determine whether you got a medal roll, which would allow you, to improve your pre-sale whitelist position. The additional incentive this time is that all the participants who invite people to the pre-sale will, if that person you invite spends at least $500 investing in DeFIRE in the pre-sale, then you will receive $20 per person. So that's potentially a lot of free money. That's like a really good deal. And so we need to try and make as big a push as we can, because we only have a couple of weeks left until the pre-sale, and the better the pre-sale does, the better the launch will be for everybody. So if if there's anything that you feel like you can still do in that way, in terms of inviting people, definitely try to do that. We're gonna start working on some other channels for bringing in new members in the marketing department. We are working on trying to get set up for some AMAs leading up a little bit closer to the pre-sale. Um, we are going to continue doing contests around Twitter, and there's going to be a knowledge contest. So there's still going to be other avenues for people to get involved in spreading the word. We have uh, our graphic design contributor putting together some banners so that we can have a little bit more attention being grabbed by our Twitter posts and our social media posts. So um, there's going to be some other things happening that will allow us to bring in more people. And then we're also going to be working on producing more YouTube videos. So hopefully we'll be able to draw some people in through that as well. So there's multiple different fronts that we can pull in people, but definitely always the highest quality um, bump in membership comes from organic reach. So that would be from anyone who's a member. So we definitely want to keep emphasizing giving opportunities for people who are already in our Discord, inviting people, because we feel like that's gonna be where the best bang for the buck is in terms of actual investment and buy-in. Let's see what else. So uh, earlier in the week, Firefly announced our roadmap leading up to pre-sale. So there are 4 weeks worth of benchmarks that we are going to be uh, achieving one at a time. For the week that we're currently in, we have the Flare token drop, um, and then we'll be doing a community vote on the KYC service that we'll be using for the protocol. Um, and then we are also, the team is working on putting together the finishing touches on a beta landing page so that we'll have a place for people to go to get the highlights and key features of the ecosystem as they do their research on the project. Next, the following week, so the week starting the 21st, we'll have the DAO setup. We'll draft a document describing our DAO principles, and that will be presented to the community for discussion. And then Glitch will be completing the KYC after we have approved the service. Um, there'll be the initial setup of our multi-sig, and then we'll also be publishing a article on the pre-sale, and the website and the code deployment will happen for the pre-sale event. And then towards the end of the week, we're hoping to get out the pitch document for the Blaze protocol. So far we've done a lot of talking about the Spark protocol, but the Blaze protocol has really got a lot of unique um, new features that haven't been. Um, it's kind of like new tech. It's built on an existing tech, but there's going to be a lot of new features that aren't part of any particular protocol that we'd be able to reference. And so there's going to be a lot of need to make sure that everyone understands how it all operates. So pitch document is going to be really important in getting everybody kind of onboarded to that protocol. So I'm looking forward to putting that out because I think that's just going to be so unique to our ecosystem. It's really going to be kind of like the hub of the ecosystem. We'll have Spark Protocol and Blaze Protocol playing off of one another, but Blaze has just got so much potential, and so I think that a lot of things will run through Blaze, even though we'll have three different protocols. We'll have Spark, we'll have Blaze, and we'll have Ignite eventually. Week 3, so week starting of March 28th, we'll be adding third parties to the multisig. We've already done some reaching out to third parties. We definitely want to have people outside of the team who are on the multisig so that everyone can have that confidence that people are buying into the project from outside. Um, let's see. So then we've also, as of this last week, we announced that we had reached a deal with a design firm on updating our visual brand assets that will be featured on the DeFIRE dApps in our landing page, and so we're hoping to get our first visuals for that in somewhere in that week, um, and we'll begin implementing all of those new branding assets onto all of our um, media channels and our website and whatnot. And then later in that week, the whitelist will be closing, so we'll take a snapshot, um, and everyone's Discord roles will be considered in that, and we'll determine that for who is eligible for the whitelist, and then that will lead into the early access part of the pre-sale. So the people who have accumulated the most roles, who have first shot at the pre-sale. That will begin at the end of the third week of our roadmap, so right at the beginning of April. And then week 4 of the roadmap, we have the general pre-sale, so we'll go through our early access rounds, and each round slightly more DeFIRE will become available for sale. And then the general pre-sale will, whatever the allocation is that's left from that 5% allocation of DeFIRE that we had earmarked for pre-sale, will be released in the general pre-sale. And then with the culmination of week 4, we'll have our updated landing page, and we'll be on the way on our way to launch. So that was a lot to just read through. So definitely go back through if you haven't and take a look at all of the different bullet points in all of the roadmap. Let's see. On the back end, things that you may not have seen in the Discord, there's just been a lot of onboarding of new contributors, and kind of continued allocation of different roles to people that have been involved but are just becoming more and more involved. We've got several people in marketing and in policy, tokenomics, asset management that have been really very active. So thank you to everyone who's been really active this week. We've done a lot. There hasn't been a lot put out in terms of documentation yet, but there's a lot that's been started, and so there's going to be a lot of that documentation coming out soon around our governance structure, light papers explaining the new protocol features, articles that are being worked on for the Medium article, our Medium article profile, and then there's some things that are a little bit further out being planned, just even now, even before we've launched. On the DeFIRE Academy, we've been continuing to kind of train up people who are really doing a great job. Our tutors in our tutor channel in the server are doing a great job. They've presented a lot of great information, and I think that people are really appreciating their effort and are looking forward to having a lot of really um, great information for continued education around DeFi, around the FIRE movement. Um, I think we're going to be doing really well with having a lot of clarity around how all of the different pieces of the protocol work and having a lot of people in our community having a really firm grasp, which I think ultimately is so important for the confidence of our investors, and it will really strengthen our protocol if we can continue to just putting out really quality content with a lot of detail and making it easily digestible. And then for the questions that people have based off of that content, just having people in the Discord who already know the answers are there to answer questions or to link people to whatever educational resources they need in order to be able to really put together a great individual strategy for their own investment. Let's see. So that's kind of the broad strokes of some of the bigger things that have been happening. Um, the hard thing at this particular point in the process of launching to kind of express is just the number of conversations that are going on between people all day around the clock. It's just a ton of communication that has to happen. Um, and so I think, that all leads to results. But at the moment, there's a lot of onboarding going on, and a lot of that just involves just having text and voice chats, having meetings, um, and so that's the part that is hard to kind of quantify. Um, but every one of the team members is basically running flat out at this point. Yeah, they're either creating documents based off of a meeting they had, or are typing out notes during a meeting, or are in a voice chat answering questions in DMs. If you look at the at the welcome thread, basically you can, or not the welcome thread, but the friends thread. You can basically see where people are at at this point. Most of the memes are about people like yawning or falling asleep while working, which is like um, it's like a happy thing, right? Like I think everyone is happy with the results of what they're doing, and like it's the best work when you're like working to the point of exhaustion and you're getting there not realizing that you're getting tired, and then you're waking up ready to work, but maybe just getting the bare amount of sleep because you really feel the urgency of like the more we do, the better we'll be. So I think that's where we're all at this point. Just doing as much as we possibly can, feeling good about where we're at, but feeling hungry. And so I think you can kind of see that in the memes that are getting dropped right now. Let's see. Let's see. So we will be having a Twitter contest, but we are putting out tweets right now. We definitely want to continue to grow our Twitter community. So if you're not following our Twitter profile, please take a second to go um, and like and follow and retweet our tweets. It really helps us to reach people algorithmically with Twitter if we have more people interacting with our account. It'll show up in more people's accounts as a suggested um, account to follow. So um, it may not seem like you're doing much, but it does really help because there's so many people that find DeFi projects through Twitter. So even if you don't find yourself to be like especially interested in being on Twitter, just interacting with our account will really help the overall protocol if we can grow our attention on social media. Same would go with like other small things that you can do, like just going to our YouTube channel, like going into our DeFire office hours archive and then clicking on the YouTube page or on the YouTube link and then liking and following our YouTube, liking the individual videos. Um, so much that you can do. Um, and it just takes a short amount of time. Although, if you're not into watching YouTube or Twitter, I get it. But, I think we're all here to, do as well as we can with our investment. And so that is going to be a way you can directly affect the success of the protocol. So if you're here anyway and you're trying to learn about what we're doing and you're getting ready to invest, um, that's just like a really simple way that you can profit from something simple that you can do real quick. Please do that if you haven't. And then, continue doing it next week when we'll be offering another Twitter contest, and that will just involve liking and subscribing to our Twitter and then um, retweeting some of our tweets. And the people that are most active on Twitter will then have a chance to win another Twitter raid roll. Um, so be looking out for that coming up. Let's see. RG, I already went through a bunch of the updates and the announcements and a lot of the marketing stuff. So we don't have a lot of questions this week. If you think of anything that you want me to add, um, drop it in the questions thread, or if you want to come up and talk, you can too. But at this point, I've kind of gone through a lot of what's been happening this week because I started a little bit early. Um, I have something I have to get to for 2:30, so I started a little bit early. Sweet, all good. Let's see. If anyone has got any background in marketing or PR and wants to help RG out and me out, we'd love to. We'd love to have you on board. I mean, you can do literally anything. We have so much available to do right now. We basically just need to be out on social media, on YouTube, in any place we can be. And so any contribution you can make, just reach out to me or RG or anybody on the team. We can give you a Spark role, which basically the Sparks role is just a contribute as you're available role, and it gives you a chance to see a little bit more behind the scenes. So if you're in the community and you are still just kind of learning about us, but you feel like you want to be involved on a deeper level, that would be an easy way for you to get in. And our Sparks contributors are, recognized per their individual efforts. So you don't have to commit to like long-term contributions. It can be a one-off kind of thing, or then if you want to become more involved, totally up to you. But at this point, leading up to the pre-sale, the more attention we can bring, the better off everyone's going to be. So if you have any time, please let us know. Let's see. Let's see. So uh, we are at the point now where our announcements page is getting so deep that some of the good information is kind of buried at the top of the announcements. We have lots of links to our Medium posts in the announcements, but you can also find our links to all of our articles on the official links thread. Um, so if you click on official links, it has our Twitter, our website, our Medium, our Reddit, and our YouTube links. So you can get all of the information about how the DeFIRE ecosystem works. Um, the deepest knowledge is going to be in our Medium link. So if you click on Medium, you'll be able to go and see a roadmap for how the ecosystem is going to work. You'll be able to see a breakdown of how our governance token, the G DeFIRE token, works, the tokenomics of that token. Um, there's an article on the DeFIRE Academy and how our education efforts are going to work. There's an article on the FIRE movement, which means financial independence, retire early, and how that kind of is threaded through our whole effort here, how we're trying to increase access to financial services through DeFi, not just for people who are already interested and online with DeFi, but for people who are traditional investors and are just discovering cryptocurrency. So we want to make it a lot less cumbersome to get involved and to get onboarded and to have opportunities to have multiple different exposures to different levels of risk in our ecosystem. So there's going to be low risk investment opportunities through Blaze protocol. There's going to be low risk um, or lesser risk opportunities through leveraging with the Ignite protocol. So the Ignite protocol will have self-paying loans, and so that's just so different than some of the other loan systems that are out there for DeFi, where you're actually leveraging a token that, if the token drops in value and you're leveraged, then you can be liquidated. With a token, with a loan that you take on the interest or the yield that's expected on that asset, you're not nearly as exposed as you would be in other forms of lending. So you'll not only be able to um, do that kind of uh, leverage on on future yield, but that and it's self repaying. But you'll be able to do it through the Blaze protocol, where you're not leveraging just like one token, but you're leveraging all of the container tokens that are involved in the container strategies. That could be like multiple tokens from multiple different protocols balanced in a unique way to create a certain level of optimized yield for that particular investment strategy. And so um, that's a whole new area. And I probably am not, I don't know if I just said something that's never been said before, but anyway, basically, yeah, you'll be able to leverage based off of your assets that are invested in the Blaze protocol, and create new opportunities to use your assets through the Ignite protocol. Um, yeah, so there's a lot of information that's there in our Discord. So go to the official links section and check that out there. Yeah, I don't think that that's been said that way about Blaze yet. So we'll find out how closely people are paying attention to these office hours now. If somebody comes out and talks about that in the Discord this week, hopefully somebody does. That would be great if people are paying attention to the office hour recordings. So at this point, um, I've gone through the basic rundown. I'm going to stick here in the office hours for a little bit longer to answer people's questions, but I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the recording. So thanks everybody for listening in. Um, you can catch the next office hours next week. I believe it'll be on Tuesday with Firefly. There'll be a scheduled event at the top of the left hand search bar for the DeFIRE server when you come into the Discord. It'll say there's one or two events available, and you click on that, and it'll show you um, when Firefly's office hours will be, and you can actually click on the event and get a reminder. So there's going to be a lot of information shared next week. So you want to check out office hours with Firefly on Tuesday. Um, and yeah, great week. A lot of new members coming in, a lot of interest from people. Things are going really well. We just got to keep it up. And so, yeah, everybody have a great week, and we'll check in with you on the next one.